My name is Dakota James Belford, and this is my life so far. I was born in Warsaw, New York on February 1st, 1993. It was a blizzard. My family constantly tells me that. Actually, a lot of them were afraid they wouldn't be able to get home, so a lot of them spent the night at the hospital. And I was raised mostly by women. Occasionally my dad took care of me, but he worked a lot. And whenever he got home, he was really tired. But for the first 3 years of my life, I lived in Rossburg, New York, which is really just like a stretch of land that's like half a mile. And we lived in a small house, and I can't really remember it, but it seemed like a safe place for me. Then my parents were looking around to move because I was getting bigger. So we found a house in a couple towns over. And so we moved to Hume, New York. And lived there for a year or two before they decided to finally send me to school. And I started going to school around 1998, I'm sure. No, that's too. 97. Yeah, it was 1997. I went to school in a hamlet of Hume called Fillmore, and I went to the school there, which is currently pre-kindergarten through 12th grade in one building, but I went to school when there was only kindergarten starting out. And a lot of kids my age, a lot of them picked on me because I like to put on dresses for playtime and dress up, and I like to play with Barbies. And Fillmore and Hume, the whole area, is really conservative and Christian and religious and close-minded. And so a lot of kids picked on me for that. They weren't like really mean. They're like, "Oh, you're wearing a dress." And I'm like, it kind of got to me. But I also met a couple of my friends that lasted through most of my high school. And well, I met my friend CJ in kindergarten, and then the next year he moved to another school. And so I didn't see him again until he moved back in 3rd grade. And until then, I don't know, I was really alone, except for my friends who I hung out with a lot. But no one else in school was really nice to me. And so I think I got glasses in 2nd grade, because my sight started to affect school. So I got glasses, and then also in 3rd grade, I started exploring my sexuality, because until then, I'm like, oh, yeah, girls, they're okay. But I didn't really know any different because the whole town was really religious and conservative. So in third grade, I kind of started like touching myself, and I found almost every guy in my age attractive. And I also started looking at porn because I didn't really know much, and what else am I gonna look at? I'm 8. So I looked at porn. I was aware that I was attracted to guys, and girls I was sort of like whatever with. And then my cousin Ryan also moved from North Carolina to Fillmore to the school in third grade. And so I had him, and he stuck up for me whenever people picked on me, and we were really, really good friends. And people stopped picking on me because he always, like, told him to back off. And he was pretty tough. He can take care of himself. But I also realized around the time that he moved up here that I did have feelings for him. He was my first cousin. So in an area like that, it was really like, you incest, you're evil, burn you at the stake. Not really that extreme, but they would have talked about it if I let them know. Or really anyone in the world know, because still around these days, people are like, you, your cousin, you're gonna have like deformed kids, and that's really gross because they're like your brother and sister. And no. The reason I'm okay, like, I don't have feelings for Ryan anymore, obviously. I've moved on, I've gotten a lot older. But even now, I don't have a problem with, like, same-sex mutual relationships within the family. Because if you're both girls, you can't get pregnant. If you're both guys, you can't impregnate each other. So there's no risk of you having deformed children who are, like, mentally disabled. So that's my opinion on incest. But after third grade, I don't know, I got more lonely. Because, after that, my friend CJ from before, from kindergarten, that moved, he ended up moving again until 5th grade. And so I had, like, my small group of friends, but they were all girls, and they all kind of fight with each other, and I was always stuck in the middle when they did that. But I don't know, it was normal, we were all friends. And my friend Aurora moved to the school in 4th grade. Everyone picked on her because she looked like a boy, mostly. And we were friends, it was cool. She was also friends with Ryan. I mean, a lot of my friends were, because Ryan is a really good guy. And I did tell Ryan I was gay later on, and he told me that he didn't care as long as I didn't like him. Which was really, like, awkward, because at that point, I still did like him. So anyways, my teachers were kind of bitchy, if that's the right word. Like, especially the science one, he actually pulled me out of class once and was like, get your ass in gear. And I'm like, whatever, teach. Actually, I was really scared. Like, I was scared of him. I'm still kind of scared of him. But he, like, retired and everything. Whatever. Excuse me. Then 5th grade came, CJ moved back, so we started being friends again, but I don't know. It felt kind of weird because, we hadn't, like, talked at all. Well, I had gone over, like, a couple times, but I don't know, I felt like we were really growing apart, because he was really getting into computer stuff, and I was still just, I don't know, I could draw and write, but that was me. I was more artistic, he was more logical. And then 5th grade is where I actually started getting really depressed, because it just started getting to me that I was more aware of how I felt about guys, and my family still was really close-minded. I didn't even let them know that I even thought that I was gay. And so I tried to act normal, and that just was really emotionally difficult for me. I actually lied to them and told them that I liked girls in my grade. Because, everyone knew each other, so I'm like, oh yeah, I like this guy. So I'm like, oh, you're blushing. I'm like, yeah. I think I sort of believed it too. But then Ryan was still here. And then 6th grade was his last year here for a while. And I don't know, I just got even more depressed than the previous year. And I think it really showed, because I started rebelling and wearing like black nail polish and wearing really dark, like punk, almost gothic clothes. And I was really angsty, and I didn't hate everyone. I more hated myself, because I wasn't allowed to be who I was in regards to my sexuality, even though it's, yeah, whatever. But, I started thinking about, like, cutting and being suicidal, and that was really tough, because I didn't tell anyone. I mean, I couldn't. My friends would have freaked out, and my family would have probably, like, been obsessive about watching me. And I kind of needed my freedom, especially since I was hiding the fact that I was gay. And both parts of my family are really religious. Like, my dad's side, his mom, my grandma, was raised Catholic. And even though she's more in the faith aspect instead of religious, she still felt weird about it, I think, early on. And 7th grade, I only got worse. Did bad in school. My school didn't really concentrate on, like, do good. They're just sort of like, here's your assignments, better do them or you'll fail. And then 8th grade, oh yeah, Ryan moved. He moved summer of 6th grade. Oh, backtracking a little. I started getting really imaginative in 3rd grade also. And, basically, I came to my cousin, me and Ryan, we just sort of started hanging out and made up our own characters. And just started having adventures with each other whenever we were hanging out. And then his little brother, Matthew, he started playing with us as his own character, and my little sister as hers, and also my cousin Melissa, another first cousin. My mom has 4 brothers. My dad has 3 sisters and 1 brother. So they both have 4 siblings, so I have a lot of relatives. Anyways, we started hanging out and playing, and that lasted until he moved in the summer of 6th grade. And, then when he came for the next summer, he's he's like, I told him about my character, Avia, which had crystal powers and stuff. And he's like, Dakota, I think we're too old for that now. And I'm like, one, my imagination's fucking awesome. F you. Not in real life. That was in my mind. In my mind. Actually. And then, second of all, I'm like, we're only like 13 to 14. We're still kids. Even didn't feel like it for the most part. And then, excuse me. So, after that, it was really only me, my sister, and my cousin Melissa. But even then, we didn't really play seriously. Like, it only happened very rarely. And then, no one was playing, and it was just me, and I had this idea, I guess, that I'm like, oh, it's wrong because I'm pretending that it's witchcraft and magic. Just because I was indoctrinated that way from my religious family. So I didn't do that for a while, and then I met up with this one, what's his name? Drew. He was what's it called? He was a classmate of mine, and my mom had worked with his mom as a teacher's aide in pre-kindergarten, because that came around that time. And we just sort of hung out in the classroom after school, we'd do homework stuff, and then we started hanging out when there would be like family and family friends getting together. And we started our own adventures. I kept my character I'd always had, and him, his brother, his sister, and my sister all came up with their own. Except my sister kept hers, which was actually Zelda from Legend of Zelda. Not very original. But anyways, we played a lot. Like, a lot. And the world that I made with Ryan and the others just sort of grew into its own thing. And we incorporated other things into it, like things from Naruto, things from Harry Potter, our own stuff from Avatar: The Last Airbender. We just played and like, because they had like a path into like this wooded area and then to the river, and so we would just play down there the whole time, or we would play on the backyard on the swings, pretend we were different people having different adventures. It was great. It was like really badass. And then Drew's mom came out as lesbian, which was huge, especially in my town. But whole drama happened, and she stopped taking Drew and his brother and sister and stuff. They stopped coming to the family like get-togethers, and so we hadn't played for like 3 years, 4 years now. And so I just made up my own adventures in my head. And I have started writing them down recently. But back to school, anyways. 8th grade, horrible. Oh, not really horrible. My angst and anger had slowly drifted into like this numb, apathetic state where everything depressed me. I was always depressed. Like gray. That's the emotion, I guess. The emotional color I was. So high school came. I was in youth group, like I always had been. I was Christian back then. Oh, and also when I first became Christian, I was kind of an asshole. And I told my friend Aurora, remember her? Because she was Wiccan, I told her that she was wrong because she's evil because she does witchcraft. And so I lost a lot of friends because of that, because words were around that I was like hardcore conservative Christian. And so I lost a lot of my friends like that. And we just started growing apart because it was high school. We started talking to other people. And I was alone for high school mostly. I still talked to some of them. Like, I talked to my friend Sadie, we hung out a lot, and, my cousin Ryan, he came back sometime during high school. I don't know. I don't have a really good memory of my past, probably because of all the emotional trauma. Oops. But I was at youth group. I went to this thing where we went, like, tubing because it was snowing. And I met this college student. His name was Josiah. No, Jeremiah. His name was Jeremiah. Yeah. And I basically went up to the college near my high school. I rode the bus there, had my mom pick me up afterwards, and I just hung out with him, or tried to at least. Actually became kind of stalkerish because I developed strong feelings for him. Like, it actually hurt to be away from him. It was horrible. And then a lot of shit happened. But that lasted that whole year. And then I met my friend Mike through him because he went to the college. And I met a lot of friends through him, actually, and just around campus. And then things got really heated because my youth pastor back then, he called me to, like, a meeting with Josiah and him, and was like, listen, you promised you would stop coming to Houghton and seeing Josiah. And I'm like, bitch, no, I didn't say that. I said I would stop being weird about Josiah, but I didn't say I'd stop coming up here. I have a lot of friends up here. And it got really heated, and I, like, broke down, and I just left. And my mom came and got me. No one said anything on the way back. And I'm pretty sure I didn't go. No, I didn't go to Houghton for a while. The college. And I don't know. And then, where was I? 10th grade? Yeah. 10th grade. Trying to remember that. It was the darkest time of my life. 10th grade. I don't know what happened to me, to be honest. I think I was still reeling from the whole thing with Josiah. And then I was also getting attached to, like, being attracted, and emotionally attracted, and physically, to all the straight guy friends that I met up at the college. My feelings for Ryan really started to, like, dwindle. But, it was horrible. Like, I started growing my hair out like this. It was a little longer than this. But, basically, oh, backtracking just a little bit, I ran away in 7th grade because I was sick of, like, the tension between me and my mom, and between my sister and my mom, and me and my sister. And so I ran away, went to my friend Nathan's house, my friend Nathan. I went to his house, or rather his parents' house, because he was only, like, 16. He's, like, 2 to 4 years older than me. So he let me in after I, like, slept in his dad's truck in their garage, freezing cold. Went into the house, went to Nathan, and he prayed for me, which it did help. It helped me emotionally. I was still Christian back then. I met something. But, basically, he let me stay there for the night. Then in the morning, they took me in their van to school, because we all went to the same school, and saw my mom, and... No, they dropped me off at home, and then we all went to school because my mom was just leaving her house. Tension, let me tell ya. Told my friends were really shocked and worried. And, yeah, it was horrible. And 10th grade, back to that, horrible. Attached to literally every guy friend. Well, almost literally. Some of them I wasn't attracted to. It really felt like winter all the time. Like, that's all I remember from 10th grade, really. I don't know how my hair grew so fast. Like, that was weird. It, like, literally, like, almost buzz short, and, like, I styled it to, like, a little longer than this. In, like, 6 months. My hair grows fast. It's, like, really thick and stuff. Wavy and natural. But, 10th grade. I don't remember a lot. Probably because I hated everything then. And I was completely emotionally numb. And so, it was 11th grade. My friend Shauna, who was my best friend back then, we became really good friends, and we started just hanging out at school, holding hands and skipping down the hallway, giving each other, like, 5-minute long hugs. It was good. People thought we were dating, but it was good. And by then, I had really come to terms with who I was. Because before that, I had, like, previous year, I had gone to see, like, no, in 9th grade, I had gone to see a Christian counselor because of the whole thing with Jeremiah. And he told me that was all daddy issues because we don't have a good relationship, me and my dad. When it wasn't that at all, it was just that I have chronic loneliness. I was born with it. Can't help it. But, then I actually believed, because I kept journal entries, that I actually burned and threw away now, thank God. But I kept journal entries, I'm like, oh, I think I'm actually becoming straight now. And I look back at that, I'm like, you were a horrible person. I'm so glad you changed. Past self. But, 11th grade. Shauna started taking guitar lessons up at the college from a student. And she's like, he's really awesome, you need to meet him. He gives really great hugs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I like hugs. I like guys. Except she didn't know that, I don't think. She was in denial. You could tell it was gay. So I met him. I met her guitar teacher. His name was John. And actually, he's still one of my really good friends. Like, we don't talk as much because he graduated and moved away and stuff, and things kind of got awkward. But then, when I got over my feelings of him, I decided to just write him a message because I forgave myself and him for whatever pain was caused. And I got really attached to him, actually, because he was so open-minded, and he taught me to question all of my beliefs, which I did, and, like, he was such a good mentor. Ugh, so good. But, things got really awkward with me and him, like, I held on for the hugs longer than I should have. I constantly looked for him when I was up at the college. It was just like with Jeremiah, only John was, like, less anal about it. And I hung out with a lot of his friends, and they were my friends too. I got more comfortable there. But too comfortable with him. And I actually made I make music. I started making music in 2009. I made a rough demo of a cover of You're My Sunshine, the lullaby. And then I didn't make music for like another year and a month. And then I stayed at my grandma's a lot, my mom's mom, who's also really religious. But now she was actually the first one to be okay with gayness in my family, of the adults and the older generation. And so I downloaded Mixcraft on her computer because she had a Dell computer, a Windows computer, Microsoft, and I downloaded Mixcraft. It's a music software thing, recording, and I made my first album of all lullaby covers and an instrumental piece in 18 days. I was on a rush. Sorry. So, it turned out, like, my style is indie, ambient, experimental, and, it turned out being kind of creepy, but also really childlike in a way. Because I use a lot of minimalism, so I repeat things over. I loop them. And it sounded really interesting, actually, and I was proud of it. I made an album. And started handing out things. Like, I would laminate the album artwork and the track list and hand it out to people who would want it. And then I made an EP, which cataloged the emotional journey of Ophelia from Hamlet. And it was all instrumental. And then I made my Christmas EP when I was in college the first time. And, it was really trippy and ambient. Like, it started to my second album. Actually, my feelings for John didn't go away until, oh, I don't know, this summer? No, last spring, maybe? No. It was winter 2012. Or spring 2012, yeah. And I made a double album. One was about my friend Cody, who basically what happened is that I met him, he was visiting the college in my hometown when I was still in high school. Excuse me. And then, we became friends, we talked on AIM a lot. And then, sometimes he wouldn't be on and I would freak out, because I was kind of attached to him emotionally. Even though he told me he was straight and didn't like gay guys, but he was fine with me being gay. And so, I got really attached to him. And he also challenged more of my beliefs, and I got really experimental with my beliefs, and really spiritual. And then one night, I messaged him, and I was like freaking out, because I hadn't heard from him for a couple days. And he was really depressed because he told me that two people he was really close to just like died. One was in a car accident, and one was like a heart attack, just random things. So he was in grieving, and you know what I told him? Because I was a real emotional bitch back then. I told him, fine, go fucking mourn. Yeah. He unfriended me on Facebook and never talked to me again. He actually blocked me on Facebook or deleted his. So, Cody was the second half of my double album. And the first one was about John. There's just the feelings and emotions I went through with them, and I made a story version of it, I guess, that was more fantasy-like and imagination worldy. Anyways. Junior year, got attached to John, cried a lot. got a little bit more happy, I guess. I felt more open, but I was still lonely. Then senior year came, and for once, people actually paid attention to me at school. And it was really mostly because it was our last year. And they're like, "Oh, we're never gonna see each other again." And I'm like, I hate you all for ignoring me, but I'll enjoy the mild popularity while it lasts. And that was also the time that I made that EP about Ophelia. And I played it in class because it was part of an English project. And everyone liked it. They were surprised I could actually make music that was halfway decent. Which to me is actually awesome, decent. Whatever. But I moved on. I applied to Houghton. No, I was going to apply to Houghton. But then I'm like, I'm not really Christian anymore. I'm sort of slipping away. So I better not. And then I applied to Roberts Wesleyan and got in there. And then I applied to Eastern University and got in there, and that's where I went to college because Roberts Wesleyan was really conservative and I didn't like how it felt. It felt just like Houghton, except that it was up in Rochester. So I went to Eastern, it was like, basically 6 hours away driving. So my mom drove me, and the July before I went, I actually came up to my mom over texting. Because she was gone on her friends, helping out with, like, a fair, and, so I just texted her, and she was shocked. She was. But she told me that as long as I was happy, it really didn't matter. And she got used to it over the next 6 months. And she, for the past year or so, she's had a problem with me, like, liking to gender bend things and kind of ignore the rules about, gender norms. But now she doesn't even care. She's like, oh, that's Dakota. That's who he is. And, I had a really good time, surprisingly, at Eastern. Like, so many people were so accepting of me being gay. At that point, I didn't even care. I'm like, fuck you guys, I'm gay. Fuck what you think if you're against it. And then, about the middle of the first semester, my friend Tessa, she told me about the Gay Straight Alliance or the gay support group there. And so, one night I decided to go. There was only like half an hour left of the program, so I rushed down there. In like the fog / misty rain at night. 9 at night. And I went in, introduced myself, and that's where I went basically my core group of friends there. And, I was becoming a deist and less Christian. But, I mean, they accepted it. They're like, whatever, you have your beliefs. And we were really good friends. Like, we hung out a lot. We always ate at meals together. We did things together. We went out together. And I also I opened a dating profile in OkCupid. And because I was really extremely lonely also because I was supposed to have a roommate. But then the first day I got there, I figured out that day he was actually moved to a different dorm. Not a different room, not a different floor, a different dorm, different building. And so we had our first hall meeting, and apparently another college student was going to come because he was here the last year. And he was coming back, and he was going to be there for Tuesday when school started. And no one ever showed. So I was there with, like, I slept in the bottom bunk, the top bunk was always empty. I had 2 closets to myself, 2 dressers, 2 desks, 2 chairs to the desks, a huge-ass window, And I really didn't talk to anyone else on my floor. And also, my floor was kind of secluded. Like, there was the main entrance. You went in, but you had to go down, like, either the elevator or the back stairs to get to where I was, and go through the laundry place / the mail place. And it was so lonely. I wanted to die. Literally. I got suicidal again. And so, I still had friends, but they couldn't really tell for the most part that I was extremely lonely. And I was really sad and depressed and everything. Like, I would always show up late to class, like halfway through the semester. I never did homework, hardly ever, except for math, but that was easy. I don't know, my professor, I just didn't like them because I wasn't Christian. I was at a Christian, it was a liberal university, but they're still Christian, and they didn't really understand because I didn't care about Christianity anymore. I didn't want anything to do with it. And so I actually failed my first semester with a .7 GPA. Yeah. Not a 1, not a 2, a .7. 0.7. And so I had to go on, like, academic whatever. I basically had to talk with someone, and I had to go to every single class, and on time, and do every assignment. And it was horrible. That was the next semester. But the first semester, I talked with some guys online on OkCupid. Some of them I even got, like, it went really good with, and then they'd be like, oh, we're just friends. There's no romance or sex here. And I'm like, I hate you. So then I stopped talking to them. And, I'm pretty sure I also met up with this one guy who was like, keep it away. He was really old, and he was really overweight. I wasn't attracted to him, and I couldn't even get, like, erect or hard when we tried to do sexual stuff together. And it was really awkward, and he, like, cut like, the inside of my anus, because he would, like, chew and bite. Not chew, but, like, bite when he gave me rim jobs. And also, he would use his teeth extremely when he gave me blowjobs, and I was not hard at all. And he's like, oh, piss in my mouth, and I'm like, why? I'm not into that shit. And then he talked about how, like, he ate up a guy's shit one time. And he thought that was hot and sexy. I'm like, that's not hot and sexy at all. Poop is gross. Pee is gross. Keep it out of your mouth. And so, took me back. Felt like I was gonna get raped almost, or killed or something. I was alone, like an hour away from the college. Okay. And he brought me back. Still one of the most shameful things I've ever done. Like, I'm actually ashamed I did that. Like, stupid. What are you thinking? But then, over Christmas vacation, because I was home, I visited the college again, because some of my classmates that I actually liked, they went there. Some of my friends. And, I met this kid named Joe. And we watched Paranormal Activity 2 together. And played footsie a little, but I couldn't really tell it was footsie until he started really doing it. So we were sitting in separate chairs next to each other. And then that night, I went to my friend Cameron's, because, I was spending the night. And, Was it Aaron? I think it was my friend Aaron's, not Caitlin's. They were in the same townhouses. Or the flats. They were in the flats. And, then I got online and I talked to Joe on Facebook. And he said he really liked me. And so the next day, I went up around noon. We hung out. We watched West Side Story. While he kind of felt up my dick. And I liked it, but I didn't know how I felt about it at the same time. Because it was actually the first time that I was with someone where I didn't feel grossed out. And so I didn't even do anything to him. I felt I think I felt his back under his shirt, but that's about it. And then I had to leave because my mom came in to pick me up. And so then nothing happened. Got to college, and he's like, well, I'm not even out, and I'm bi. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Have a nice life. Then, a couple months later, he messaged me, and he's like, oh, I miss you. I'm like, yeah, I kind of miss you, too. But then, by the time I talked to him again, he actually had a girlfriend. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Excuse me. But anyways, I started talking to more guys on OkCupid when I got back to school. It was my birthday. And I turned 19. And then I wore a birthday hat that says, that's my birthday, bitch. And 19 all over it. And it was awesome and epic. And then it kind of came off because it was really tall. So, I went over a doorway and I didn't die, thankfully. I got choked to death. But, yeah, the hat was kind of ruined. And, then I met this guy named Philip who I talked with for a week before I met him. And he seemed to like me a lot. We talked, almost all day. Because, he didn't have a job. He didn't do anything. He lived in his dad's apartment. His dad was never there. So he just take care of his dad's dog. And then when I went over there, I was really nervous when I got off the train. Actually, I was nervous the whole way going there. Because I'm like, this is the first time I'm going to be with a guy who's not bisexual. And, well, I don't have a problem with bisexual people. It's just that Joe was kind of an ass. And he's like, I mostly like girls. He's one of those. And so, first time seeing a guy who was gay, and he was single, and he was lonely, like me. And it went really well. We couldn't hold hands or anything when we first met, because he lived in, the ghetto. Homophobic. Ooh. But when we got in, it was sort of awkward at first, but kind of cute, because he was playing, some music, and I was sitting, on the edge. Oh, and I also dressed my gay as I could. I wore my suspenders, I wore a red shirt, I wore my pink glittery scarf, I wore my Toms, which were navy blue then, and then I wore my rainbow toe socks. And so, my hair was short then, it was spiked too and styled. I liked how I looked. People actually were like, "Whoa, you're so sexy now." I'm like, yeah. Sorry, I'm gay, don't like girls. Anyways. And I just sat on, the edge of his, lazy boy chair in the living room with music playing. He was like, can I get you anything? I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry, thirsty right now. And then he lay on the floor, and I got extreme butterflies, and then I did it. I laid my head on his chest and laid there and kind of held onto him. He's like, oh, really like this, don't you? I'm like, I do. And then, after 3 minutes, we got up and went to his room. We laid there, and he's like, we can go as fast or as slow as you want to go. There's no rush. I'm not forcing anything. So he was really sweet. His name was Philip, if I hadn't mentioned that before. And, first we found our shirts and took our shirts off, then took our pants off, not our underwear yet, and looked at each other kind of like, just held each other, and then I finally was brave enough, like started to go for my dick. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And so we just like did hand jobs and blow jobs, and we made out a lot because I love making out. Like when people say kissing, I'm like, oh, making out. They're like, no, just normal kissing. I'm like, isn't making out normal kissing? Apparently it's not, but it is to me. But anyways, we kissed a lot. He was my first guy I ever kissed and really did anything with that actually meant something substantial. And I stayed over for 2 days. And actually stopped going to class because I was just so in love with him. He was sweet and nice. We liked a lot of the same music. He was kind of punky like me. And, then I actually cried the first time I was with him. Not because of him, because I thought of, like, John, because I had just finished the album, like, literally just finished. And he's like, don't cry, please don't. I was actually sobbing, and so I told him what was wrong, and he's like, oh, it's okay. They're not part of your life anymore. And then he really missed me when I was away. So I went over like 2 more times after that. And he did the same thing. One time, actually, his dad came in while I was naked in the kitchen with him, and luckily I hid behind Philip so he didn't really see anything. But then after that, I couldn't go over again. And, so... I kept crying every time I was with Philip and we were sleeping. Actually, we like hardly ever sleep because we just loved staying awake with each other and cuddling. That's a whole different experience. Oh my god. But then he said during the next week he would see if he truly liked me or not, and if we could date like long distance, because he was moving in 2 weeks to his mom's in Virginia near DC. And I'm like, okay. Then I kept crying every time I was with him, like I told you. And he just like, sorry, I don't like you, made a mistake. And I was so heartbroken. Like, it was worse than 10th grade and 7th grade combined. And I just stayed in my friend Josiah's room because I did not want to be alone. So I didn't actually go to my room until I officially withdrew and my mom picked me up. And so I went back to pack and stuff. I was so brokenhearted. Like, I've only just gotten over him like this past summer. Because he did talk to me again for a short time. He's doing really well, a lot better than he was doing emotionally back when he was near Philly. And he can be his good, completely gay self again. He has a job, but I don't talk to him anymore. I think it's better that way. But after the whole Philip thing, I dropped out because I was so depressed from that. And I didn't really fit in because I wasn't Christian. I started becoming really atheist and agnostic. And I was really against religion. And then, excuse me. Sorry, I ate chips before this, so I broke them. But, let's see. I went home after that for like a month, 2 weeks to a month. And I've been talking to this guy online from OkCupid, and he seemed really nice and to like me, and he was nervous he wouldn't like me because I seemed like I was really gay. And I am. And was. And so I dressed like I was just a normal guy that just happened to be gay, with like loose jeans, sneakers and stuff. Not sneakers, I wore my Toms or my Converse. Um, I actually topped sexually the first time with him, the only time, currently. And I loved it. Like, I'm like, oh, ooh, that feels nice. And then after that, he's like, oh, he joked me, he's like, you're a wild man. I'm like, yeah. And then things got awkward because I didn't really like the country accent he had, and he had a weird mole under his nose, and I just didn't find him really attractive most of the time. His teeth were crooked. So he kind of almost basically kicked me out, / I moved out after 5 days. I planned to live down there with only a backpack of clothes. So I had been talking to my friend, Ryan. Different Ryan than my cousin. This one lived in Ohio with his best friend / girlfriend, it's complicated, Alicia. And they said I could stay with them as long as I needed it, which they thought was only like a week or something. I ended up staying a week and a half, and the only reason I went home is because they were going home to get drunk for St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't have any ID, so they said, and his girlfriend didn't trust me to watch her house, and so I called my mom, and she brought my grandma with her, and they took me back home. And I didn't talk with Ryan and Alicia for a while. Still haven't talked to Alicia. Awkward. But anyways, went home for like 3 months. I was with Ryan. Actually, met this guy in OkCupid, and I'm like, oh, I'll come walk, I'll meet you. And he was like a couple hours walking away, so I started off early. And he never texted me where he lived. So I walked and walked and actually sharded because I've been walking so long and I didn't have a good diet. And so I got to McDonald's and I texted Alicia and I'm like, come get me. She's like, oh, I'm out with Ryan, but sure, I can come get you. Like, really bitchy. I'm like, thanks, bitch. Thanks for nothing. So she was really mad at me, and I don't know, I think Ryan was okay. He was just worried that I had gone off because it was the first time we ever met in person. I actually had strong feelings for him. He didn't have any for me. And Ryan was pansexual. And, let's see. I knew him for 3 months after that. And, I was also vegetarian then. Almost for a year. And, I started talking to different guys online, like, oh my god, I talked to so many. Didn't talk to so many, but I, sent out 200 messages, and all of them were to different guys. And only about, 15 of them replied. And one of them was Barrett, who is now my ex. And, we started talking in June of 2012. And then it was June 14th. That was the first time we talked. And then we started Skyping and stuff. And it was kind of long distance relationship for a couple weeks. And it was hell for me. I really wanted to be with him so much. And then he actually visited me and he stayed with me for a week. And we did stuff. We went out to the drive-in, had food. drove around, had sex, which is when I bottomed sexually for the first time. And at first I'm like, wow, that doesn't feel good, but it also feels good at the same time. And then I got sore. So I limped when I walked. And then we had a short fight before we left because I was still getting over Philip. And then he's like, it's not fair to me. And I'm like, I know it's not. I just don't want to try. But then I said I would try and get a job when I went back with him. And then when I went back with him, this is like after 2 weeks of being the bottom, when we had sex, I'm just like, I can't. It makes me so uncomfortable. And so we stopped really having sex and we just like hand jobs and blowjobs and stuff. Use lube, obviously. Ouch, that hurts without lube. Then he's like, why don't you just, why don't we look online as a couple for a third person so that way I can have sex and we can still emotionally support each other? I'm like, okay, that sounds alright idea. I mean, I want to be with you. And so we did. We found a couple guys, but then the one we stayed with the longest ended up really sabotaging our relationship. It was also kind of going to shit because, I don't know, I was really just apathetic because I've been in my town for so long. My town was literally my personal hell. And so, checking my eyebrows, because my eyebrows look uneven, but basically what happened is that I wasn't out looking for a job, for the most part. I didn't care. I just was glad that I was away from there, and I was with Barrett, someone who actually cared about me. And, I just stay home, watch shows, movies, play video games, or just sit around naked and unshowered. I would shower only I would shower every other day. It's really gross and hot. It was summer and I hate summer. I hate sweating. So, and then Barrett broke up with me out of the blue. And it was really to just get me out there so I can get a job and still stay with him. But then, the other guy, Art, he would bring out all of Barrett's doubts and fears about me. And it was just them together because I wasn't in a relationship with Art anymore. Barrett was dating the two of us and neither of us were dating. And it wasn't good. He just filled Barrett's head with lies about me. He didn't even really know me. And then another reason we broke up is because Barrett was Christian. He was liberal. I mean, he was into he liked Charmed. He used to be really into Wicca. But he also was liberal Christian, believed in God, liked to go to church. But he didn't go to church or be Christian at all when he was with me because he felt like since I was so against religion that he couldn't be around me. Excuse me. And that just kind of made me mad. Because I'm like, you can share anything with me. You can be who you want to me because I care about you no matter what. But then we were going to look. He knew someone at McDonald's that was hiring. And he said, I don't care what you do as long as you're out of here, because I hate seeing you sitting around here just dying emotionally. And we were going to talk to the people at McDonald's the next day, and out of the blue, well, he was gone seeing another guy, because we weren't dating then. It was kind of awkward with us, but we were still, like, being sexual with each other, but really emotionally distant. It was really strange. But he was gone to see a guy in Columbus, I think, because he wasn't seeing Arch by then, because he said it just didn't feel right without me there. But he was gone seeing another guy, and I was alone, and he's like, I want you to move out. I'm kicking you out, because you're not going to do anything, no matter what I do for you or tell you. And I was actually absolutely shocked on my mind, because I'm like, I have to go back home to bumfuck nowhere, where there's no jobs and nothing and no friends. And so I packed up my stuff really quickly. My stuff took up most of the room. We were staying in at his friend's for free. And basically, my mom came and got me and told her what was happening. She got me, and then Bear texted me, and he's like, oh, are you almost gone? Basically, he was really coy about it. He was sensitive about it. A sensitive issue. And I'm like, yep, leaving now. He's like, okay. Didn't hear from him for another 3 months or 2 months. And then I went back home, miserable as fuck, because that was my longest relationship, 2 months, a little over. And I started talking to more guys. No one really answered my messages. A few guys did, but then they ended up just being asses about everything. I thought, oh, you're too emotional, you care too much, this is so casual right now. I'm like, whatever, that's how I am, bitch. And, basically, I'm pretty sure I called Barrett, like, a month or 2 after he broke up with me. Or kicked me out. Sorry, details. And, basically, he's like, I have a new boyfriend now that I've been dating for a month. And it's going really well, and everything's going well in my life, so I just need you out of it, because you're just fucking it up. And I'm like, I was brokenhearted. I actually threw the phone and hung up on him once. And then I'm like, fine, whatever. And then in December, I decided to try and start my own life in Philly again. But I stayed with my friend Josiah at Eastern, my school, my previous school. And I looked for jobs. I met up with this one guy named Ryan. Other guy. 3 Ryans, I know. Hard to keep track. Don't worry about it. But we met and went on a date, which was my first actual real date with someone. And then he kind of never talked to me again, because I had to move out of the area because I didn't have a place to live, and it was finals week. So the college was shut down. And, sorry, checking my nails. See, they're nice and glowy and sparkly. But anyway, sorry, ADD, ADHD, something, OCD. So, my friend Taylor, I met her for finals week, because she came to visit our friends that were still there. And she had graduated the past year, and I told her what was happening, and she's like, you're not sleeping in a cold, hard Amtrak station on the ground or on the bench. You're gonna stay with me until you can go home. I'm like, okay. So we went and saw a movie. Then she took me to her dad's house, who she lived with in Baltimore. And then I stayed there for 3 weeks, and I started looking for jobs. But then her dad's like, why doesn't he just go home? And there was actually a confrontation there. I'm like, stop being so fucking forceful, basically. And like, I do what I want. Are you doing this because I'm gay? Like, actually, no, I didn't know you were gay. Like, my friend Sean, 3 weeks in, he's like, so, you wanna go back home? And I'm like, why not? People hate me here. They don't really hate me. I'm just not really wanted because they have their own bills to pay. They can't take care of another person. So, my friend Sean, he was from Eastern. He actually ended up taking me home from Baltimore to Hume. I think it was Hume. No, it was somewhere else, a town nearby. Like, maybe Belfast, I want to say. Belfast, New York. And, my mom and grandma met us there. We were hanging out in the library. And that was it. I said goodbye. I hugged everyone that was on the trip. Because they were all going to see their friend play, like, a concert in Rochester. Thanks for inviting me, guys. Kidding. But, then I decided to go back to school. I was like, it's my only way out of here. And I can't stay here anymore, or else I'll start getting really apathetic again. And so I went back to school. But this time I went to Genesee Community College in Batavia, New York. And that's actually where my mom went. So I went there. It was a lot cheaper than Eastern. And my first semester, it was really lonely. Like, I cried the second day I was there and just hid under the covers and slept and listened to MGMT. And, I made some friends. Like, there's Anna and Marielle and my then roommate, Jeremy. And kind of his boyfriend, Zach, but he thought that I had feelings for Jeremy, so that was awkward. I also started getting on Tumblr more, which is why I talk weird sometimes. Whatever. Adds to the weirdness. And, Barrett, lo and behold, he actually contacted me again. He's like, no, actually, he contacted me when I was staying with my friend Taylor near Baltimore. And, so he, like, I don't know, I miss you, like, we could still be friends and stuff. And I'm like, sure, but then we, like, got an argument about stuff. And then in January before I went to school, he's like, oh, guess what? We were talking, it was actually going good. And then he's like, oh, just out of the blue, he's like, I want to be a missionary in India within the next year or two. And I'm like, I don't like religion, and you know I don't. Like, I'm fine with you being Christian and you going to church and stuff, but that's like a whole nother level that I can't even go to. And broke it off, because I'm like, fuck that. Because I really hate long distance anyway. So he's like, oh, you can do your thing and I'll do my thing. You'll go to school and then you can come live with me, I guess. I'm like, no thanks. I don't want to be like your, I don't know, Christian bitch in India. Like, why would I move for you? Like, I have my own life and stuff. So that good. And then after that, when I was going to school again, he's like, I'm sick of your shit, basically. And I'm like, my shit? What about your shit? You fucking change your emotions every fucking 3 months. He he was bipolar, and he wasn't on any meds, so... It's a shame. I don't feel bitter towards him, I just feel sympathy. A little empathy, actually. Because they were both lonely. He had been engaged twice and gotten broken off with. And I had never had anyone before. But then school went on. In Eastern, I also started sleeping naked because, like, I didn't have a roommate. Why not? But, then it was summer, and I didn't hear a word from Anna and Marielle, my lesbian friends, for months. And they had actually told me that we were going to Pride in Buffalo, and Pride came and went. Jeremy's like, I would bring you, but, like, the car's full. I'm like, that's alright. You didn't say you were gonna bring me originally anyways. And then I defriended Anna and Marielle on Facebook, got mad at them, and confronted them and told them why. And I'm like, because you didn't fucking talk to me all summer. And you ditched me, and I've never been to Pride. So they got mad and we stopped talking. But the whole summer, I made music, I wrote more poetry and lyrics, watched TV, I ate a lot, I started exercising. I didn't really go out of the house except for family, like, gatherings and reunions. And so, I was extremely lonely. Like, I actually got, like, wanted to cut myself suicidal again. And I was just in this really dark spot, like, just engulfed by darkness. And, then I joined another dating site, which is really just a chat room for gay guys. And I read a lot of messages. There were a lot of, like, weird, pervert, sexual people on there that I didn't really want. Because I'm monogamous, and, like, I'm not able to have casual sex. I'm too emotional. I get attached. You know, I told you. And then, one night, I got this message from this person named SuperNick16, and I'm like, oh, let's click his picture. Oh my god, he's beautiful. He's literally the most beautiful real person I've ever seen. Possibly the most beautiful person ever, even above the models and everything on Tumblr. And so, we started dating 2 days later. That was May 12th. We just talked for hours online. So great. But backtracking, because, I don't know, I do this. I forget things. I don't have it written down. It's in my mind bank. And, Nate, this guy Nate, I started talking to him and he's like, oh, I don't want to date anyone right now, but you can come stay with me, because we're friends. Just come stay with me at MCC, for spring break. And I'm like, okay. I went. I only stayed for 2 days. Excuse me. Because apparently he told me that I was creepy and stuff, and that's why he slept out on the couch. Not because he didn't want to wake me up. And I got over him. His friend Matt. His friend Michael, actually. He had feelings for me, and he was too much like Barrett. Like, I'm, like, just in a dark place emotionally. I'm like, no. Plus, it wasn't even, like, I wasn't attracted to him, and that's a big thing for me. Like, I'm not gonna date you, I'm not physically attracted. Like, I'm not gonna hate myself for that. Or hate you. So, yeah. Plans to stay with him over the summer in his house didn't go so well. And, basically, I'm trying to think, because there's something else that happened. Oh, my friend Mike, that I met through Jeremiah, if you'll recall, because he went to the college near my town/school, and we became really good friends. Like, I would help him out when he worked at the youth center and stuff, and I kind of got attached for a little bit, but then I wasn't, and he was dating his ex and totally embarrassed me at this dinner lunch we were at with the temporary summer pastor for the church, and the pastor asked Mike, he's like, "Oh, are you seeing anyone or anything? Just curious." And I'm like, Mike's not seeing anyone. Just kind of quietly, almost to myself. And it turns out he was. He was seeing his ex, who basically a lot of shit went down with. They're like, "Oh, we broke up because we're both concentrated on each other and not enough on God." I'm like, that's a fucking shit reason to break up. Anyways, besides my dislike for religion, we still were good friends. I still went to my youth group, but only to help him out as sort of his secretary. And, basically, he ended up moving away summer 2012, which is the same time that I, moved away to live with Barrett. And so, I heard from him that December when I had moved and stuff. I haven't heard from him since then, at all. I defriended him on Facebook. I unfriended him. Haven't got a text, then again I got a new phone, but even then, through the summer before I got my new phone, nothing. So, he's out of my life too. And so are most of my friends from Eastern, actually, because almost none of them talk to me. Like, two. Two actually talk to me sometimes. Rarely, because, they have their own lives. One of them's actually, getting treatment for aplastic anemia. And, so she's been really sick. But they're my girls, they're my girlfriends. I love them. Taylor and Aaliyah. The other ones never talk to me, ever. They don't even, mention me in Facebook posts. People sometimes. But, back to Nick. My boyfriend. Who I dated the second day we met. I started a musical project that was more simple than the stuff I had been doing. So it would feature one instrument, so it would be like a solo for that, and then also I would sing with it. And I would have a different instrument every month, and every month it would be a 3-song EP named after the month, and then a slash, and then the year in Roman numerals. But I made it look weird, with numbers instead of letters and stuff, because I like that. I named the project Aquarius, with the U's being V, so it's the old Greek style. And still working on that. Me and Nick, we had our rough spots. I was mad when he wouldn't tell me when he would be gone for a while, because I was really insecure still a couple months ago, and we worked it out. I mean, we still have, tiny fights that don't even matter about anything. Everything's great. We've been together 5 months yesterday. It's my longest relationship, and I'm really proud of us. I'm really happy that I found my soulmate, because he really loves me. And I really love him. We even talk about getting married in the future, and having, adopting kids or getting a surrogate. 2 at the most or something. So yeah, we're talking about that. I mean, me and Barrett talked about getting married, but then a lot of shit happened. But Nick, he's the one I've been waiting to end my loneliness for my whole life. And he's just there. I mean, granted, he is in Virginia right now, and I don't get to see him for another, well, until next August, actually. Next August. Unless he comes for Christmas vacation. But that's up in the air, because I don't know what his family's doing, and he's not out, and he is bi. He is the kind of person that's bi who is attracted to males and females equally, emotionally and physically. But he loves me. Only me. He makes me feel special. Sometimes I wonder how I even get through this long distance, but then I remember that it's him. He's not just another guy I'm talking to or dating. Sorry. He's my soulmate. He is my one. And I will wait for him forever if I have to. Because I love him. And if it doesn't work out with him, I'm not trying with anyone else. Certainly not gonna get married again when me and him get married. If we ever separate, which we won't. Like, I have no doubt about it. We will stay together forever and have a beautiful family and start our own thing, and it'll be beautiful. Yeah, rent's gonna probably be an issue in the future because money runs out, but I mean, I'll have a job. Because when he knows what college, because he's 17 right now. But, he'll be 18 December 21st. And I'm excited because he's going into adulthood and, excuse me, and I can legally be with him. Well, I can legally be with him now. He's 17, I'm 20. Only 3 years difference. But, his parents are, like, Catholic and raised him Catholic, but he's total atheist. Scientific. I love it. Such a relief that it's not another Barrett at all. It goes totally different than Barrett. And I love it. I love him. But... out of... oh yeah. When he goes to college next fall, but the August before, when he knows what one he's definitely going to, no matter what his parents say, I'm going to move near that college, and then he will visit me most weekends and stay with me on vacations. And it'll be my place that I'll get, but it'll be like our place, both of ours. I'll just be there most of the time. But yeah, I'm really excited about that, because, like, there might be rent issues, but like he said, he is going to keep me with him, like, no more long distance, especially not after, like, 15 months. That's crazy. It's over a year not seeing each other, unless he comes at Christmas. I love him so much. I can't even put it into words. Nothing can measure my love for him. Or his for mine. It makes me really happy. And that's been my life so far. So wherever you are, there is hope.